Goodness!
So I want to quickly clarify something for you anime onlys. This is a dude. Yeah, I know. I know many of you are looking at it like, wait, what? Like, that's a dude? It looks like a girl? It sounds like a girl. Like, what? Yeah, I know. I was confused as well when I first read the manga. I honestly thought for a while that, he was a she, but it turned out it was actually a he, and so I'm just gonna clarify, yeah, it's a dude. The first Fairy King is actually a dude, even though he looks very feminine, sounds very feminine, like, oh my god, the voice actor, and then also just the style of the wings, like this rainbow-looking color of wings, which I love that scene, by the way, spot on. But I mean, just, yeah, it is a dude. But okay, so let's get into that. So we have a reveal for the two Ten Commandments that our main characters are facing. Number one, a fairy is a part of the Ten Commandments that work for the Demon Clan. That is a big mystery that pops up. You see, here's the thing. When you think of the Ten Commandments and the Demon Clan, you would assume that they were all, demons. But now finding out that the previous Fairy King, like the first Fairy King, is working with the Demon Clan, it makes you wonder, like, why? Why? Because, I mean, the fairies obviously got attacked by the Demon Clan, and obviously King, he is a fairy, and he, had to take down demons to protect his home, so why did the first Fairy King, the person for his people, just straight up abandon them, and now work for the Demon Clan? That is a question that you're going to get from that scene. But then on top of that, when you kind of put, A and B together, you'll realize that the dude next to the first Fairy King is also a giant as well, because he was doing magic that is like a giant. He was being able to earthbend and all of that, and he also is related to the king of the giants. So just when you put A and B together, like, why is a giant and why is a fairy, like the two kings of these two races, working with the Demon Clan? Like, why? Why is that? And so that is a big mystery that pops up with this episode. But leaving that aside for a second, let's talk about King. So King, he gets a pretty freaking good fight. Like, he gets to protect his Diane, and Diane gets to protect him in a different way. And oh my god, that scene was just quality. Okay, just quality. Like, pure 100% quality. But, okay, now, getting off of that, I'm sorry, but, that fight was pretty funny for the most part. It was mainly just there for comedy, but at the same time, it was to show how, King, he also is not weak by any means, because we've already seen that he was incredibly strong when he was fighting the Albion a while back at the beginning of Season 2, and seeing him demonstrate this power once again fighting, he's doing a pretty freaking good job, but we do know it has its restrictions. He does have a limit to when it comes to that power. He cannot just spam it continuously. Now, let's get into the Meliodas and Bond stuff. So, Meliodas and Bond, they have a pretty funny fight. Like, most of the fights in this episode, to be real, it's, they're mainly just there for jokes or comedy. The only real serious fight that was in this episode was the Elaine and Elizabeth stuff against the two assassins. That was really the only serious fight in the episode, but besides that, everything else is mainly there just for laughs, comedy, and stuff like that. Like, the Bond and Meliodas fight is mainly just them bickering and having an argument, and then it turned out to where the two people they were fighting, the two demons, they got obliterated like it was nothing, just because they got caught in the crossfire of Meliodas and Bond. So, let's talk about that. It's pretty hilarious how they started comparing their girls and all that. Like, Meliodas is like, I like my girl and all that, and he's like, I like everything about her. I don't just like the rump, I also like, the opai as well. And he's just saying, like, she's the best girl. And then Bond's like, no, Elaine's best girl. And it's kind of like seeing these two guys that were saying, this person's best girl, this person's best girl. It's kind of like best girl wars you would see in the anime community or manga community. And I was just laughing because I'm just like, yeah, seeing these two characters just bickering and all that over something this petty, it's just like them. It's definitely something they would do, and it was outright hilarious, especially when you saw these blue demons trying to attack them, and like one attacked Bond, took his hand off, and Meliodas is like, what happened to your hand? And he's like, don't change the subject, Meliodas, and all that, like, keep talking. Like, I was laughing, and then all of a sudden you have it to where Meliodas, he gets attacked, he has this, like, big freaking claw just on his head and all that, and then Bond's like, what's on your head right now? And then Meliodas is like, don't change the subject and all that, and he just pulls it off. That was it's funny. Like, I couldn't help but, laugh when I was watching this episode, and I felt like they definitely captured the comedy from the manga and brought it to life in this episode of the anime. Getting into the Elaine and, Elizabeth stuff, so this is the serious fight of the episode. We actually get to see the two girls that you would consider to be very weak actually put up a fight against, they're not high-class opponents, but, they're deadly. They're assassins. And so you would think that these two would struggle quite a bit. But it turns out Elaine, by no means, is a weakling. I mean, we already know that she was able to do some damage to Jericho and Bond previously, like a couple episodes back, but seeing her actually on their side and fighting, she's pretty OP in a way. I mean, she's a wind fairy, just blowing them back like it's nothing, and it makes you wonder, like, can Elizabeth keep up at all? I mean, she is kind of like the white mage, she's a healer and all that, which you even see she heals, her, the enemy team and all that, but it just shows that Elaine definitely is strong. She can definitely hold her own. And by comparison, when you look at the feats right now from the anime, Elaine is obviously the stronger out of the two. But before I go any further, I want to ask a question to anime onlys and manga readers as well. Who is best girl out of these two? For instance, Elizabeth or Elaine? Who do you think is best girl? Now, I'm not talking about the events later on in the manga. For instance, I don't want manga readers coming in here and saying, like, oh, because if something happens in the future, I think this girl should win. Do not factor that in. Just factor in their feats and everything right now that you have seen from the anime only. Who do you think is best girl? I'm very curious on that, so let me know in the comments below. We also have a very OP-like combo, which is Escanor and Hawk, two of the strongest characters in the series working together. It's gonna be hard for them to lose. Let's just be real here. So, pretty OP. Honestly, they need a nerf just because of how OP these two are. Hawk is always holding back, and Escanor, obviously, he is the sun god itself. You cannot fight these two individuals, so anyone that they have to face, I honestly feel truly bad for, okay? And now, all jokes aside, though, I think this episode, even though it was a great episode, I enjoyed it as a watcher and as a manga reader. It did feel very fast-paced. Like, there felt like there was some content cut from this episode. It was, like, on, fast-forward mode, and I am a little bit concerned about that, but overall, I think it was a pretty okay episode in the grand scheme of things. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, how you felt about this week's episode. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? How do you feel about everything that happened? How do you feel about the fights? How do you feel about what Meliodas and Bond did? The comparisons of best girls, all of that. How do you feel about, all the individual little fights here and there? For instance, what's going on with Hindi, or, what's going on with, Gil Thunder? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. Love you guys. Chibi out.